There are 4 very common things that I see a lot of people do in the gym that absolutely ruin their workout quality and their workout performance. And today we are going to go through these things, and I'm even going to give some tips on what you can do instead of these things or what you can do to prevent them. But before I get into that, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Alphonse. Here we'll talk about how to maximize your results from your training with as little time in the gym and with as little risk of injury as possible. But anyways, the first thing is that I see a lot of people who just talk more than they train. I see people getting into just like long conversations, just standing there talking with someone they know at the gym for, multiple minutes, which is a lot, like 10-15 minutes or even more, or they're taking phone calls and they're talking with people on the phone and they're just completely forgetting about the workout. Now, this is actually fine if you're someone who wants to use the gym as just a way to kind of socialize, which a lot of people actually do. A lot of people go to the gym because they like the feeling of being in the gym. They know people at the gym. They like to talk to people they know at the gym. They just like kind of the social setting there. And that's fine if you want to do that. But if you're someone who actually wants to maximize the effectiveness, right, of your workouts, and you actually want to make the best possible gains possible, then you do not want to be getting into long conversations or taking phone calls and stuff like this during your workout. If you see someone that you know at the gym, of course you can say hi to them real quick or whatever, but aside from that, all of your focus should be directed towards the task at hand, which is the workout. And if someone tries to talk to you and get into a conversation with you while you are working out, I suggest you just politely let them know that you are working out and that you unfortunately don't have time to talk right now because you want to focus on your workout, and that you can talk about whatever they want to talk about after your workout is done. And any normal person who isn't a weirdo wouldn't get angry at you for telling them that. The second thing that I see the vast majority of people in the gym doing is that they are scrolling on their phone and or answering notifications during their workout. I would say that most people that I see in the gym are spending at least like 3 times as much time on scrolling on their phone and just doing stuff on their phone as they are doing working out. Now, of course, people are doing this in between their sets and their exercises, and you might think that that wouldn't be a problem, but the thing is that a lot of the time this causes them to spend a completely unnecessary amount of long time in between their sets and their exercises, because they're just getting lost, losing track of time scrolling on their phone. Now, on a quick little side note, this is of course assuming that you are doing multiple sets. If you're doing high intensity training, which I say is definitely the most safest and the most time efficient way of exercise, and it's also equally or more effective than other forms or other exercise protocols, then of course you're only going to be doing 1 set, and in that case you don't want to be scrolling on your phone or answering notifications or stuff like this in between your exercises either. So no matter what you're doing, you don't want to be scrolling on your phone or answering notifications. And again, the biggest reason for this is because it's simply just a distraction. Like I said earlier, we want all of our focus and all of our mental effort to be directed towards the exercise, to the workout. And so when I work out, I pretty much always just turn off my notifications to make sure that nothing is distracting me and pulling away my mental focus from the exercise, from the workout. And this actually does make a difference. How focused you are and how present you are when you're working out can make a big difference in how well you perform your exercises and therefore how effective your exercises are. And if you're getting notifications and scrolling on Instagram or TikTok and stuff like this all the time, what's going to happen is that is going to take you out of your flow in your workout, and you do not want that. The third one, and this is a big one, is that people just go into the gym without having a structured workout program to follow. They go into the gym and they have no idea really what they're going to do, like what exercises, how the workout's gonna look. They just go into the gym and just kind of improvise the entire thing. Now, if you're even remotely serious about your training, you must track your progress. You must keep accurate records of your workouts. You must do it. You have to, right? Because otherwise, there's literally no reliable way that you can know if what you're doing is actually working or not. So that's by far the biggest thing, is that you have to be tracking your workouts, you're tracking your progress to make sure that what you're doing is actually working. Because if you're not doing that, then you could be making no progress or even be getting more weaker, going backwards, and not knowing it because you're not tracking your weights, you're not tracking your reps, you're not standardizing your form, you're not writing down the machine settings, you're not doing any of this stuff. But another problem with not having a structured workout program to follow is that sometimes people go in, right, and because they don't have any workout program to follow, they just kind of train whatever they feel like training, and a lot of the times that causes them to skip certain body parts a lot more that they don't really like training. So, legs, for example, a lot of people don't like training legs. If you don't have like a workout program that tells you that, okay, today you need to train legs, a lot of people will just end up skipping legs or end up skipping some other body part that they don't really enjoy training, and will just end up having a, unbalanced physique. And then on the inverse, it can also lead to them training some body parts way more often than others, perhaps even more frequently than some of those body parts can handle, which in those cases can lead to those body parts, becoming smaller and weaker because they're being overtrained or just not making any progress on them at all. And so again, I just want to really highlight before I move on to the next point: track your workouts, folks. If you're even the tiniest bit serious about building muscle and improving your overall functional ability, you have to be tracking your workouts. Now lastly, let's move on to number 4, which is music. Now I know already this is one that a lot of people are not going to want to hear, but music, in my opinion, is a problem if you want to perform proper exercise. One of the problems, which is kind of interesting actually, is that the beat of the music can actually mess up your cadence counting. So if your music has a very weird beat or very fast beat or very slow beat, it can actually mess up, how you're counting your cadence, your, how fast you go up and down, your eccentric and your concentric. Let's say you're trying to use a 4 seconds up and 4 seconds down cadence, which is the minimum that I would recommend. If you have music in your ears which has a really fast beat, then that can actually lead to you counting your cadence faster. So you might be thinking that you're counting to 4, but you're actually just counting for 3 seconds because the cadence is very fast, and so you're counting faster because of it. Now another problem with listening to music during your workouts is that a lot of people listen to very aggressive music when they're working out, like hard style or funk and stuff like this. And of course, listening to this very aggressive music can cause you to feel very hyped up at times. Now in my own experience, this can kind of lead to you wanting to perform the exercises very rapidly and very aggressively, because the music is so aggressive. You kind of just feel like going, just, you get me? Like the music is so aggressive that you just kind of feel like just grip and rip, just push it and go as fast and hard, get as many repetitions as you possibly can, not caring about your form at all. But the thing is that proper exercise is a very stoic activity. You're not going to be going like, okay, let's go, and then because it's a very slow, methodical, it's not fast and rapid motions, it's not very aggressive, it's a very stoic and very focused, slow and methodical process. Because when you're doing, let's say, a properly performed bench press, for example, you're not going to be hyping yourself up before and then thinking like, okay, how freaking fast can I get that bar off my chest? No, you're going to be thinking about the contraction of the target muscle groups, performing the exercise with correct form, with slow changes in directions, and counting your cadence. And you don't want to be moving different body parts that aren't involved in the exercise, and that requires a lot of focus. And so it's not really something that you want to hype yourself up before, because when you're hyping yourself up for it, that's just going to tend to make you be thinking about moving the weight as fast and as aggressively as possible, which of course isn't good, because that's not going to be proper form. The form is probably going to break down, and also fast repetitions, higher peak forces, higher risk of injury, more wear and tear on your joints, and all of these different problems like this. So yeah. And lastly, whether you like it or not, it's just simply a distraction. Because when you are doing proper exercise, like you're going to be very, very focused on like what you're doing, on the exercise that you are performing. And there's so many things that you need to be focusing on at the same time too. Like having the turnarounds being smooth, keeping your, rep cadence consistent, counting your reps at the same time as you're counting your rep cadence in your head, and just again keeping proper form, keeping proper body positioning and stuff like this. And so having music blasting in your ears while doing that is inevitably going to be distracting. Or another thing that I've experienced myself is that, I at least tend to kind of sometimes be waiting for like the drop of the song to kick in, or like for the right song to kick in for me to like get that jolt of motivation to start doing my exercise. And so ever since I stopped listening to music during my workouts, I find that the workouts in themselves are a lot more kind of intrinsically motivating and a lot more enjoyable. But again, that's just an anecdote, but it is a fact that music is going to be a distraction and that it can mess up things like your, cadence counting and stuff like this. And so I do not recommend you listen to music during your workouts. But anyways, guys, that's the video for today. I really hope you liked it. If you found this video useful in any way, please don't forget to leave at least a like on this video. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, don't forget to click that subscribe and ring that notification bell so you can be notified the next time I upload a video. But with that being said, I'll see you boys in the next video next time. Peace.